welcome. Today I feel like I'm kind of getting back to my roots. I'm doing a almost strictly collage piece on a art card, which for me that is 3 by 4. And that's kind of how I started or where I started. And so I'm taking this is just cardstock because I'm not really going to be doing any kind of inking on the card. So just cardstock is good. And I'm just attaching to that cardstock with a glue stick some old book paper. In this case, I have an old dictionary, and I'm just adding a base layer to the card or cards of this book paper. And just check my corners to make sure my corners are secure, because it seems like I have a tendency to not quite go all the way to the corners. So once that is on, I just trim it to size. And it's okay that the text doesn't go all the way to the edge because I'm going to be adding a lot to it. You really won't see a whole lot of this base layer once it's done. And I'm just going to stamp an image on the background just in case anything peeks through at the end. There might be a little bit of something, and you can see a couple of these places on the finished piece. And that was archival ink in the color Pebble Beach. The stamp, I think that was from the Obscure from Tim Holtz. And now I'm just taking some pieces that I want to add. My center piece there is a pocket card from Tim Holtz. And I'm playing with some book papers, actually some magazine papers from an old, I'm not even sure, Harper's Magazine maybe. And the pink piece right there is a piece of jelly print. The black and white paper that's got the design on it is, I think, just some paper from Joann's. So I'm just kind of laying it to see where I think it would go well before I start gluing it down. And I also use that little green piece, and that is also a piece of jelly print. And I think I'm ready now to start gluing some of it down. And because some of it's a little thicker, like this jelly print, I'm going to use the liquid glue. And this piece, I'm going to kind of have it go in front and behind the pocket card, so I'm kind of gluing it in place before I glue it down. And then just trim off the excess. And then same on the next card. And these pocket cards have they're made to look like they're already collaged, and it looks like they have some of Tim Holtz um, age tape, and I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, and so I'm just gonna cover that up with my tape so it actually has a real piece of tape sitting there. Cello tape, that's what he calls it, cello tape. I think so. That sounds about right. So I'm just laying it down over what it already looks like it's covered. I'm just going to continue on with my collage pieces. And I think I add one more, yes, I add one more piece to the left. Okay, and what I often do when I'm collaging is I might want to add a bunch of things to the top of this. Maybe some crayons, it could be anything, some marker. And if I coat it, if I were to put it on it as it is, once I add something on there, it is on, because the book pages, and these pages are very porous. It's going to absorb it. So I like to cover it with some, in this case it's Liquitex matte varnish, but just something to seal it so that I can add some things, and if I don't like the looks of it, I can just wipe it off. And that actually happened. You won't see it because I didn't actually use it, but I did try to use some Posca paint pens, and I just wasn't liking how it looked, and so I just wiped it off and didn't use that part of the video. So I recommend doing that if you want to kind of protect it and maybe have some leeway for removing some things. And I'm just going to distress the edges with the vintage photo distress ink, and I do the cards and the pieces that I have there, the ephemera pieces I have to add on, I'll do those. These butterflies, I cut out of it was like a calendar, but it was like calendar cardboard things. So I had to peel off several layers of the cardboard behind it and then fussy cut them. And then I am just adding a little bit of distress ink to get rid of the white edge. And the round circle was just a scrap I had of something left over, and I punched a circle, and I'm going to use that. And then the Styles of 1900 is from the number strips from Tim Holtz. The 2 and the 4 are from number strips, or no, are from snippets, maybe one of the two. I'll have it listed in the description, but it's one of the ephemera packets. So because I'm going to only glue down the center portion of the butterfly where the wings will not be flatly attached, I'm just going to add a little bit of stenciling to the backs of them, just so that if you see them on the back, they're not going to look totally white. totally unnecessary, but just might add a little bit of something if someone's scrutinizing your piece. I don't always do that. Sometimes I have glued them to black construction paper or scrapbook paper and just cut them out that way so they're black on the back. It just depends on what I have, what I've done, and there's no wrong answer. So now I'm starting to glue down my ephemera. And I'm trying to leave it so I see most of the flowers on the pocket card. And I just felt that circle was too big. So I do end up using a different one, but I think I grab it later. And this is the piece I'm going to use for that circle. It was just a scrap from my scrap bin of paper, and it's like a little punch out of a map. And lastly, I think, well, not lastly, almost. I'm just gonna add a little bit of stamping. This first one didn't really go on as I'd hoped. You can't see it very well, but I didn't want to, and because I used StazOn ink, I couldn't really wipe it off. I did try, but it wouldn't go anywhere because it was StazOn. But I wasn't going to try to stamp again because then it would just made it worse. But so then I just move on to the other one and add a little bit there, and it turned out much better. That's a vertical number stamp I really like. I think I got that from, I think I just bought it on Amazon actually. And the very last thing is adding sentiments. The one on the left, I'm using a small talk sticker from Tim Holtz. It says, "Today is full of possibilities." And then the one on the right, it's one I did on my Cricut. It says, "Chosen and loved." I'll be giving that one away. that is it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It's free. People have asked and they don't know that it's free. It is. And if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. But either way, you have a great day.